Before the delivery apps, before the pizza tracker, before Domino's took over nearly every corner, there was Pizza Haven. Not exactly a household name anymore, and not the most nostalgic chain people talk about either, but at one point, Pizza Haven was a serious player in the Australian pizza space. It had over 100 stores across the country, it was early to embrace delivery, and for a moment in time, it looked like it could go the distance. But somewhere between the late 90s and mid-2000s, things started to change. Today, most people don't even remember it existed. So, how does a homegrown pizza chain with national reach end up wiped from the map? Let's dig into one of Australia's forgotten fast food stories. The Pizza Haven story starts in 1984 when four brothers, Evan, Louis, Bill, and Gabriel Christou, launched the first store in Adelaide. Their idea was simple: good pizza, affordable prices, fast service, and, crucially, home delivery. That last part was what made them stand out early on. Delivery wasn't new, but it wasn't yet an expectation. Pizza Haven jumped in before most of the big names had fully committed, and for a while, they carved out a strong lane for themselves. By the early 90s, Pizza Haven had expanded beyond South Australia. They were popping up in New South Wales, Queensland, and Western Australia. Their brand was bright, bold, and unmistakably 90s. Big red logos, thick crusts, cardboard boxes with massive fonts, and menus full of the kind of comfort food that went perfectly with a Friday night movie rental. They were a solid suburban pizza chain built on convenience, consistency, and familiarity. Pizza Haven's biggest strength was also the source of its growing vulnerability. Their early move into delivery gave them an advantage in the 80s, but by the late 90s and early 2000s, competitors had not only caught up, but had overtaken them. While Pizza Haven was still operating in a more traditional style, Domino's was optimizing everything, from delivery zones, cook times, even the placement of stores for maximum reach. If you want to dive deeper into Domino's dominance of Australian pizza, check out our video on it here. Meanwhile, Pizza Haven stuck with what had worked. That loyalty to their original model made them dependable, but it also made them slower to adapt. They didn't have the same investment in online ordering. They didn't innovate their menu as aggressively, they didn't push into emerging digital platforms with the same urgency. Slowly, the gap widened enough that margins started to tighten and growth started to stall. By 2008, the cracks were showing, and that's when Eagle Boys made its move. That year, they bought out Pizza Haven's Australian operations. Practically overnight, dozens of locations were flipped. Staff stayed, the ovens stayed, but the brand disappeared. In New South Wales, a few Pizza Haven stores continued to operate for a while longer. The brand wasn't dead yet, but it was clear that its best days were behind it. Without the scale of a national network, and without the capital to reinvent itself, Pizza Haven slowly faded out of view. It was as if the chain had been scrubbed from Australia's fast food history. In its prime, Pizza Haven was pulling in impressive revenue for a locally owned chain. With stores operating mostly in suburban locations with lower overheads, the business model was designed to be lean and profitable. Franchise fees and consistent weekly sales from delivery-heavy operations gave them a solid financial base through the late 80s and 90s. Unlike Domino's, which by the early 2000s was backed by serious capital, Pizza Haven remained family-owned and privately run. That meant limited access to large-scale investment. They couldn't afford the same level of tech integration or aggressive advertising campaigns, and when competition heated up, especially in metropolitan areas, it became harder to stay profitable without deep pockets. Maintaining franchise support, training, and logistics across multiple states turned into a financial strain, one that slowly eroded their ability to compete. While Pizza Haven was trying to hold its ground, the broader fast food landscape in Australia was shifting fast. Global chains were going all in. McDonald's, KFC, Subway, and Hungry Jack's were all doing pretty well in their markets. For pizza, the competition was getting tighter by the year. Consumer habits were changing too. People wanted faster delivery, better deals, and eventually more customization, all of which required back-end systems that Pizza Haven struggled to build without major investment. There's also the reality that running a national chain in Australia is uniquely difficult. The country's geography is massive. the population is spread thin outside of major cities, and distribution costs can chew into margins quickly. Chains that couldn't centralize operations or negotiate with suppliers at scale were always going to face an uphill battle. Pizza Haven had ambition, but its structure wasn't built for long-term national dominance, especially against global brands with deeper pockets and more scalable infrastructure. So why has Pizza Haven mostly faded from memory? Well, a lot of it comes down to timing. The chain existed in that awkward middle ground wherein it's too recent to feel nostalgic, but too far gone to feel current. It never built the quirky, distinctly Aussie personality that Eagle Boys leaned into, and it didn't have the scale or marketing firepower of Pizza Hut or the tech-savvy edge that made Domino's so dominant. Pizza Haven just felt normal, dependable, familiar, but not the kind of brand that sticks in your head. And when something like that disappears quietly, it's easy for people to forget it was ever there. But that doesn't mean the story isn't worth telling. Pizza Haven represents a very specific era. The rise of local fast food chains trying to hold their ground as global competition intensified. In the 80s and early 90s, there was still space for Australian-owned brands to build real national presence. Pizza Haven proved that, but as the 2000s rolled in, the industry changed. Delivery wasn't just about a guy in a branded car anymore, it became an entire infrastructure. The businesses that survived were the ones that could adapt fast, raise capital, and scale ruthlessly. Pizza Haven couldn't do all that, but for a while, they didn't need to. Their model worked until it didn't. There's also something to be said about how Eagle Boys handled the takeover. They didn't pay homage to the Pizza Haven name, instead they erased it, and in doing so, they also erased the story of how local entrepreneurs helped lay the foundation for the delivery-first model that now dominates the food industry. Pizza Haven might not have been the first pizza chain in Australia, but they were part of the group that normalized the idea of calling up, placing an order, and having a hot pizza arrive at your door without ever leaving the house. Today, the Pizza Haven name only survives in archived pages, old business records, and the occasional online nostalgia thread. You might stumble on a photo of a branded pizza box or a blurry menu from the early 2000s, but that's about it. The brand didn't stick around long enough in the digital age to even become ironic. But their legacy is still alive, even if the name isn't. The customer expectations Pizza Haven helped shape, fast delivery, consistent quality, low prices, are now standard across the industry. That model didn't vanish, it evolved, and Pizza Haven helped build the early version of it. So next time you grab a quick pizza on a weeknight or track your delivery down to the minute, think about the chain that helped make that normal. It may not get the nostalgia treatment, and it won't be trending on TikTok, but Pizza Haven played its part. Quietly, briefly, and without fanfare, it was there. But what do you think? Did you ever eat at Pizza Haven? Have you tried working there? Was it underrated, or did it disappear for a reason? Drop your memories or hot takes in the comments below. We'd love to hear how you remember it. And if you enjoyed this story, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell so you never miss out on more deep dives like this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, stay curious.